should follow Seth on Twitter, Landman33. Tweets a lot about the Celtics, sometimes sarcastically, but he does tweet a lot about the Celtics. You had a lengthy 8-part thread on Marcus Smart the other day that blew up pretty good. And I was going to read the whole thing. I won't, because we've talked a lot. Well, and we've also talked about a lot of the components of it anyway, so it would just be redundant. But one thing that we didn't really talk about is, you're talking about just giving it an honest to goodness shot with Marcus Smart actually being the point guard, as opposed to the shooting guard. And it just, it takes me back, I guess, because we've been talking for years about how Marcus Smart, say what you will about his shooting, he's a very good playmaker. He's a very good passer. He's very good in that role when given an opportunity. Is he, along with maybe some other guys, but again, like I said, continuing with the theme, is he being mismanaged here? For all the people that are like, get Marcus Smart the hell out of town, we're tired of it. Even like, you don't even need to be this like Marcus Smart super fan and like go get the little like it in this house we do not slander Marcus Smart block and all that. So like, you don't need to be that guy. You can just appreciate what he does and what he does well. And I feel like there are a lot of people that don't, either because they don't watch the games and they just look at the box scores, or because he's not being necessarily on a consistent basis used the right way.
Yeah, I think there's a lot. First of all, I found myself thinking this morning about what a good sport he's like. The guy has been in trade rumors like every year, right? And then on top of that, I feel like we go through this charade every year where we're like, okay, now Marcus Smart is going to have to play point guard, and then like suddenly he's not playing point guard again. It feels like this happens every year. And the truth is, I think you get a few. So like, forget Smart as an offensive player for a minute, and like defensively, for the system that Ime Udoka appears to want to be running and that involves a lot of switching, I feel like that's a way of leveraging Marcus Smart as a player, is that like for a point guard, he's gigantic and is like really capable of defending up the positional spectrum. And so if you have him at the one, all of a sudden you have this like real weapon on defense where your switching schemes can make a lot more sense, in a way that like having him at the two next to Schroeder or next to like Kemba Walker in the past, like you lose that option. And Smart's great at guarding shooting guards too, but it just like, it takes away a little bit of what could be special defensively. And then offensively, I just think he has never gotten enough credit for like, I think people don't pay enough attention to just like basketball IQ and passing and like the quickness of decisions. And I think the reason the offense always seems to have a little bit better numbers with him out there than with him not out there comes down to those things. He's just like, he makes pretty good decisions. His shot profile this year is like everything's either within 10 feet or a 3-pointer. And so even though he's not a great shooter, he takes the shots that are worth the most value, right? Like he's not jacking up a bunch of long twos. Everything is inside of 10 feet or out at the 3-point line. And then with those open threes, he doesn't like hem and haw about it and dribble a bunch, right? Like he catches
he'll
the ball,
happily launch.
Yeah, he shoots the open ones, right? Like, and he'll like throw up the grenade at the end of the shot clock if he has to. Like, I think he's got pretty good awareness. And like, so I'm not out here saying that Marcus Smart is an elite offensive player. I'm saying you've built this team around two wings who have usage percentages over 30, like these enormous usage rates. And you don't, I think, to bring in a point guard, to act like you're going to bring in a point guard who's going to like control everything and set up Tatum and Brown, I just think it's like missing how basketball works. Those guys are you're never going to get value out of those guys by having them give up the ball more. It's just not how it works. And so having a low usage point guard who makes good decisions and plays killer defense, that feels like as good as you're going to get around those two guys to me.
Yes. So the difference between Marcus Smart and Jalen Brunson is not a big gap at all, considering Smart's defensive prowess. I mean, I love Jalen Brunson. Don't get me wrong.
I love Brunson, but
but like he doesn't add any value because you don't really want your point guard to be touching the ball that much anyway because of the way you've built this team.
I would love Brunson as like a backup option, but I think if he's at the one, you lose a lot of that. There's a reason this is a top 5 defense, right? Like, and that it has been most of the past few years. Like, and Smart is a huge part of that. And I think if you give that up, I think, you could you move up from like 22nd to 15th in offense? Maybe, but does that come with like moving down from 5th to 15th in defense? Like, and then you're just totally an average team without anything elite going on. I'm not sure that helps.